I think that the key sort of trend we've observed over the past, let's say, year or two in this industry is that we're moving out of a place of measurement as the currency and into a place of, well, what did I get in return for my purchase? And so that's where this outcomes notion comes from. And outcomes are inherently very hard to track, but I think as we spend more and more time really digging in on what did we get out of, what did we get in terms of value out of our connected television buy, part of that answer has to be the outcome that it delivered. And then if we're moving out of the space of, hey, I just want to measure my CTV buys, and into the space of, I want to optimize for a particular outcome, what that looks like will be inherently different by every single advertiser, but ultimately we as an industry need to come together and figure out how to deliver that next iteration. It can't just be talking about, we layered on this first party audience segment, we ran a $1 million media flight for you, and here's the report. It's got to say, hey, you gave me $1 million. Did you give me back? Did I get back, 1.5 million in terms of actual returns on investment?
Okay. So this is moving beyond these traditional measures and benchmarks of reach and frequency and those targets into other kinds of indicators. So what kinds of things are you seeing as far as how machine learning is being applied and creating new performance indicators?
Yep, so it's another great question. Moloco is a machine learning company, Moloco, machine learning company. It's a portmanteau. And our founders built the machine learning engine that powers our entire company after building a similar one at Google. And the whole crux is that we want to make machine learning accessible to the larger market. Why that's important for performance marketing is that machines are able to do all of the upkeep, optimization, and then the analysis in real time in a campaign. And so what used to happen is we would build out what we think is how the world works, and we'd say, hey, we want to reach auto intenders, and we want to do so over the course of this 90 days, and we're going to layer on a few pieces of data, and then we'll look at it and see how it performed after the fact. What machine learning does is it allows you to truncate that 90 days into 19 milliseconds or whatever it happens to be by valuing every single impression at the moment that it's served as to whether or not there's a high likelihood or a low likelihood of that delivering the outcome. And so that's where machine learning comes in. I think there tends to be sort of, it's the right question, because a lot of people think, well, is it just a buzzword being interjected into this industry? But it's not. It's powering all of the major ecosystems from FANG that are having no trouble monetizing performance marketers. And our hope is that we can bring it to this market as well and bring performance into this space that has traditionally been owned exclusively by brand, and also is kind of losing, they might be winning battles, but they're losing the war against the YouTubes and the Amazons of the world who are, pretty quickly scaling massive advertising businesses.
Well, from what I've read with AI, and they talk about how they train their large language models. In the case of ChatGPT, they look at a Reddit and other sources of text. What's the equivalent with how you train your models? Like, what kinds of data sets go into this?
So when I was as a brand DSP before this, and now I'm at a performance DSP, and the thing that I've said from both of those experiences is that everyone thinks that data is really valuable, but the most valuable data is the data that the advertiser knows. No one knows their customer as well as the advertiser themselves. And so that's the data set that we use to train our models. The data set we use to train our models will be, if you're DoorDash, you have really, really, really good data on all of the people that have ever shopped within your app. And so that data informs our ability to make really great predictions the next time we serve an ad impression. Hey, it turns out that we get really high customer lifetime value from this type of user. Let's send more ads to that type of user. So in your analogy, the Reddit of ChatGPT, what is that for Moloco? For Moloco, it's the advertiser's first-party data powers and informs our model.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, so looking ahead, is there anything that you're most excited about or that you'd like to see happen in, like, I don't know, the next 6 months to a year? Like, what should we expect?
I think what's most exciting about this space is that it isn't owned by any one party. So it's not that there is Chrome, which is the Rails that everyone uses, or the iPhone, and immediately some sort of a change at the corporate level can change the entire ecosystem. It's fragmented across many different providers, and so as a result, it's more of a democracy. It's more federated. That's both awesome, but also it's an opportunity, but it's also a challenge. The challenge is it's hard to get everyone together and agree on the same thing. And I think what I'm most excited about is for our advertisers to continue to push forward on this notion and say, hey, I want to get real value out of this, and real value is no longer defined as you telling me how much money I spent on your platform. Now it's more defined as you telling me how much money I made because of your platform. And when that shift starts to happen, which it's already taking place, when that shift starts to happen, I think that this ecosystem can really start to punch above its weight class again.